Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Career Retrospectives with my good man Kyle and Mike, my two good men. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Oh yeah, man, ready to go.
Ready to go. So today's topic, as some of you may or may not have noticed already, is we're going to be talking about I'm trying to keep a straight face. The latest Maroon 5 album, Jordi, and we all can't wait to discuss how we feel about this record. So I'm going to let Kyle dig in first. Kyle, what's your take and your initial impressions on Jordi from 2021?
Sure. Okay. So I went into this album. I'm gonna be honest, I was late listening to this album. Actually, my first time listening to this fully through was like last week when we decided this is what we were gonna do. Longtime fan of Maroon 5, full disclosure. I think that they're a band that, while they've made a career out of chasing the trends in pop music, up until the mid to late 2010s, they did a very good job of it. Their early albums are all great. Overexposed in the early 2010s being my favorite album of theirs, and one of the few pop albums that I would consider a near perfect pop album. And then the album V or 5, whatever you want to call it, happened. That was like half good. Red Pill Blues, I hated. I don't know what happened to that. So really, when the band started to be less of a band and more of Adam Levine doing whatever he wants to do with some features. And I had hope for this album when it was first announced, and it did not live up to it. It did not live up to any hope I had for it at all, outside of really two songs are the only ones I'm going to go back to frequently. And they were two songs that I had already known that I liked before listening to the whole album. I have a lot of issues with the album, which we'll get into over the course of this. But initial impressions is really, really did not hold up to what I think that their name and previous work, going back at least 5 years ago, holds them to. It comes off as very much identity crisis of, well, this is what's popular and on the radio now. It's not really our style, but let's try to emulate it anyway and maybe get a bunch of features on there, relevant people. And boy, did it not work.
Mike, is there any saving grace right now?
Depressed sigh. I'm the old grandpa villain on this channel, on this feature. It's just that's my role, and of course I'm an old listener of Maroon 5, like probably the first stuff that ever came out. Everything in the middle is what I hear while I'm in the grocery store buying some milk and bread during a blizzard, probably in New York. So that's probably about as much as my knowledge of middle Maroon 5 kind of like can lend to the critique of how they evolved from, like, I think Kyle said it perfect, chasing trends. It's kind of just they're just morphing into kind of almost just like a sampling of kind of the sounds of like pop radio right now. And it's not even like there's many shades of pop. This is kind of all in the realm of kind of like beats and like no guitar, just kind of like just so flat, so lifeless, just almost painfully creatively dry kind of showing, with the opportunity to feature a bunch of people to kind of like, it's almost like, I almost like picture like Adam Levine sitting around like a table with everyone like wishing him happy birthday, and like they're like, you're not old, like you can sound like a 16-year-old kid on this song, and like nobody will question it because you take off your shirt at the Super Bowl. But anyway, like it's just like it's just a desperate clawing to be relevant in today's radio, and with regards to like maybe a song or two like that I weren't horrible. It was not much to find on this album that had any kind of like real, I don't know, just substance to it. You know what I mean? And just overall, like, yeah, it was definitely a painful record to make it through. Almost forgettable parts where it just like 4 songs went by, and I'm like, they sounded like one continuous song, and had, you know, yeah. So it was just like, it definitely was very, very kind of just sad. Sad. I wanted Jordi from Star Trek to like beam me away from the album and take me far away somewhere where like intelligent life exists. You know, but hey, you know, that's just an opinion, folks. Don't at me. All right.
Oh my God, that Star Trek reference just made my night.
Absolutely. Jordi,
Yes.
please save me.
Save me. Jordi. I will bravely admit, when this album first came out last year in 2021, I was, first off, I was like, oh cool, new Maroon 5 album. I heard Memories. I heard Memories, and I was thoroughly depressed by the lead single, like that came out in 2019. It was weird. The first thing was 2019, and the next one was fall of 2020. Then the biggest single, which was Beautiful Mistakes, which, you know, I'll get to in a sec too. But like, outside of those 3 singles, and then the album came out, I was like, all right, Memories was boring. It had like, you know, sure, it had some meaning for people. I just found it very boring and depressing. Nobody's Love came out, and I was like, what is going on with Maroon 5? Is Adam Levine okay? Like, what's going on? I was petrified. Beautiful Mistakes comes out, and I was like, all right, this is just a very weird. Hopefully the album comes out great. We're hoping for like that overexposed V kind of vibe kind of thing. And oh my God, when I listened to this album start to finish, I almost couldn't believe my ears. Like, I felt like I lost my virginity with my ears in a really bad way possible, with like something that was just awful. And it made me so depressed afterwards. And I've never, this is the first time I got angry at a record. I was in shock. I was like, what is going on? The first track, we'll get to all the tracks in a sec, but like post like the first track, I was like, I literally was jaw dropped open. My jaw was open. And I said, what the hell was that? I was in, and then thank God I convinced Kyle and Mike to do this stream tonight, because I wanted them to hear how bad this album was. So bad. As a Maroon 5 fan, who likes them enough to call themselves fan, this was one of the most questionable, outrageous, like just a lot of weird features. Stevie Nicks is in there for some reason, and Black Bear, and like it's like a midlife crisis times 5 on Viagra. I mean, forget it. It's terrible. I can't believe what I heard.
Hopefully you didn't buy it. Hopefully
No. Thank God I didn't buy it, Mike.
Yeah. Because I mean that would enrage me. Like, man, like, you know.
Mike, are you kidding me? I bought the vinyl pressing. I bought the limited edition vinyl pressing of Jordi.
Oh, the ones that come out with little stick-on tattoos that you can like emulate, like Adam Levine, like you can like dress up in the mirror and like while you're singing the album. Oh, I got the same one.
I got those Beautiful Mistakes coming on right now. I got those stickers, man. You know, it's like what is going on? And then the remix with like in the end with Memories. We're gonna get into the track listing in a second, but overall, just a lot of questionable choices. It sounds like
Beautiful Mistakes, you mean?
It was that was good. It was
horrid mistakes.
Did I say beautiful mistakes? I meant terrible mistakes.
Terrible mistakes. Yeah.
It's like terrible. It's just, oh my God. Well, let's go into their Wikipedia page and let's talk about Jordi, their 7th album that came out, and I understand that it was a dedication to like their manager or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, this was just like, what? I just want to.
So that's one major problem I have with this album, actually. coming off before it was released,
Yeah.
knowing what the album, is a dedication to their like past manager, I expected more songs with like, maybe some like deeper, more introspective like lyrics, thinking like, oh, this like we're dedicating this to him. You would expect some kind of lyrics on there to maybe even point to that at all. At all. But the only one
Yeah.
that we got was Memories, which was released over a year, I think, before the album even came out.
Yeah.
Which spoiler alert, I actually really like the song Memories, but it's the only one that had those type of lyrics on it that I'm like, oh yeah, I could see that. And then the rest of it is just lyrically just run of the mill, just phoned in Maroon 5, like, oh, love song here, breakup song, like, oh, summer fling song here. Like it's pretty much the entirety of this album.
So it's basically like a dedication. It's like it's like one of those dedications that really have nothing to do with the person. It's more like, hey, he died, so like kind of I would look like a jerk without at least mentioning him in like the booklet. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
Put him in the booklet. Yeah.
So that was something that really annoyed me because I was expecting at least a couple songs like that, but there wasn't. As far as I could tell, Memories was like the only one. That everything else was just so lyrically standard that it's not bad, but just again, just like go write a pop song in 5 minutes, and like these are lyrics you come up with.
Yeah. Mike, what do you got for just to add on to that if you have anything?
Standout tracks. I mean, if I'm gonna so one thing that really annoyed me about this album was the vocals kind of going like in these high pitched kind of like random like directions that just made it feel like it's just such a weird distortion on the voice. A lot of the times the way he ends his sentences and the way he pronunciates words, it almost sounds like he's doing like almost like he's trying to sound not Jamaican, but like trying to sound like he's from the islands or something like that with some of these songs, and it's just so weird. It's so weird, and it's like Adam Levine trying to sound culturally kind of like diverse with some of the songs that are coming with like kind of like they have a certain kind of vibe to them, and I'm just like, it's almost like someone building a portfolio of examples of how to convince people that they're like culturally kind of diverse. You know what I mean? Like, well, look, I released a song that kind of has like a reggae beat to it, or like, oh, this one kind of has like this sound to it, and it's like in the end, it's just a guy trying to like sound, like he has many different like influences. Believe it or not, my guilty pleasure on this album, besides Memories, is okay. Bonus question for the both of you: what song is Memories using? What's the main song that the Memories is using as its base song that he kind of is adding lyrics to in a way, or kind of altering in a way? What original song is it using? I'm the old head bringing you guys a little know-how here.
Like lyrically or the riffs?
The main the da, 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 da.
Oh, isn't it the classical score?
Yes, yeah. Oh, JT's on it. But what is the classical score? This is why I gave Memories a little bit of a bonus, because I'm a classical music guy. I appreciate that. Although there are a ton of pop artists who have already done this, and I heard these songs by accident in Famous Footwear, working there, hashtag Famous Footwear, where you can get all your footwear needs. But anyway, yeah, what it basically says it in there. I think it says it in the thing. Does it say it in there? Let me see. Hold on. Blah blah blah. Oh nope, it doesn't. But yeah, they wouldn't mention it because so anytime you copy off something that's like classical music, you don't have to put it in the credits, because classical music is past the date
Public domain.
Right, public domain.
Yeah.
Like for example, like in this movie, they used Mozart's. I can't remember which one, but they used his song in it, and you don't have to credit anybody. It's just public domain. So yeah.
Hmm.
But the answer is "Impacted Canon" is the song. A lot of weddings use it. Yeah, that's what he's using as that. So it's not even his song, my friends. It's someone else's. That Adam Levine is just kind of borrowing from. I appreciate it though, but it's definitely it's actually one of the better songs on the album. And then I have a guilty pleasure for the song "Lovesick." Screw both of you. I don't even care. I enjoyed that song.
That one actually scored higher for me than most of them. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Okay, good. Yeah, I actually enjoyed that song, and it's one of the few songs that actually has like a beat that actually, like, a lot of these songs have a no beat. Like the beat is very, it's like not like boom, boom, boom. It's like this very weak kind of snare that like it has no commanding beat, you know?
No, it very much followed the minimalistic trends that were going on, and it was very late to the party on that as well. That trend started to die out a little bit a couple of years back, but in typical Maroon 5 fashion, they had to jump on a trend and be late to it. And hey, if we're talking track list right now, I've mentioned it in previous streams. I hate when artists rely on features in almost every song on an album.
Yeah.
Also,
Right.
every feature on this album, with the exception of maybe Stevie Nicks, doesn't feel right. Like, it just feels like they sent over a song, like I'd say, like to Black Bear, which I've said this on the streams before too. I hate Black Bear. Every single thing this guy does has the exact same flow, the exact same cadence. It sounds exactly the same every single time, and yet everyone loves this guy. I don't understand it. But anyway, every feature just sounds like they wrote a song and just emailed the files, sent the files over to insert popular rapper at the time here, and just do whatever you want on top of it. A good feature comes from actually being in a studio with someone and being like, actually cooperating on a song. At least the Stevie Nicks feature was just her doing like backing vocals and like harmonies and stuff. That one is Remedy is actually one of my top on the album, getting like a 7 out of 10-ish, mainly for that reason. Same thing, Seasons, I actually enjoyed a bit. Seasons also got like around 7 because I liked, like Mike said, that one actually had like a flow to it.
I gave that one the similar to the image I'm about to show you right here. That right there, that was a season up in fire.
The thing I like about Seasons though is it actually has like a nice groove to it that a lot of these songs are lacking. But my two biggest guilty pleasures, I guess, Memories I do like a lot, and Beautiful Mistakes actually. I actually really like that song until Megan Thee Stallion comes in and does a random rap verse that just comes out of nowhere and adds absolutely nothing to the song. I mean, even look at the Juice WRLD feature. It's just typical what's popular now. Oh, it's popular to cash in on Juice WRLD's death and throw like an unreleased verse of his onto one of our songs. Same thing, that guy Nipsey Hussle. I think this was released after he died as well. Maybe it was before he died. I don't know. But same thing with him. He got popular for a minute when he passed away, and boom, everyone has a song with him out. Megan Thee Stallion, she started blowing up at that time. It's just constant.
Wait, did she die too? Or
no, she didn't.
I thought you were.
No.
I thought you were leading.
She just started blowing up at that time, so they're like, "Oh, gotta throw her on a song." Also, the Memories remix absolutely destroyed a good song.
I gave it a 0. I really did. I had to give it a 0.
It was so bad.
So stupid because the rap verses don't fit in, and it's essentially like they're saying different things on a song that has a completely separate meaning. They're just like, here's a verse, we'll turn it in, rap over a pretty much non-existent beat. I didn't give anything a 0. I try not to give zeros. very often, but man, I had lots of ones and twos. Echo was one of the worst things I've heard in a long time. Lost has one of the most annoying choruses I've heard in a long time.
I know. I
On
had
my
it stuck in
notes
my head for
here-
a year.
On my notes here, Echo should have been written by a 16-year-old boy. That's actually what I wrote.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, you know
100%. Yeah,
Lyrics
and the worst part,
speaking-
yeah,
What
and
saying,
the worst
Mike?
part the worst part is like Tracy and I were listening to it, and like he does the echo with his voice, and we were like,
Yes.
could you have not added an effect to this that would have been a cool like? But no, you just like it just. Oh my God! And the lyrics are straight out of like I don't know, just Justin Bieber's like first record, like and just desperate, longing to be young again, and it's just painful because and so like I don't know if you've ever watched Adam Levine's like Super Bowl performance, but he's like when he had all these artists on that were like rappers and different like people, he was like looking at them like accept me, like love me, like, and he was like trying to like dance with them, and they were like looking at the audience like, yeah, we're not looking at you, Adam, we're looking like at the crowd, and like we're not in your band, and you're not gonna like take us in, like we're here to perform alongside you.
Is this even a band anymore though?
No.
Like
right, the band's right here.
The
right?
one song you can hear, one song you can hear anything on is the acoustic guitar and Memories. Other than that, it's oddly enough, there's like 6 people in this band. They have like 6 members, and they're not even just touring members. They're actual band members. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense.
It's terrible.
Even look at Panic at the Disco, similar situation. It's essentially just the Brendan Urie project at this point, has been for years now. There's still distinguishable instruments in there. This just seems like they're like, all right, Adam, you go do whatever you want, hire 20 to 30 producers for a single album, and just we'll profit off of it, which, you know what, more power to them. But if we're talking about songs that should have been written by 16-year-olds, Mike.
Yeah.
The song Button.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The lyrics on the song Button in the chorus is, come push the button and turn me on. Give me good love, switch the siren on.
Oh boy.
They say the line, come push the button and turn me on, well over 20 times.
Also, I accidentally sneezed and hit the skip button on that one. I was like, "Oh shoot, I skipped it."
They also did the much needed Spanish verse because that's popular now. So they got a Spanish rapper to do that. Why not? Dude, this whole thing was just an identity crisis train wreck for me.
Oh my God. It's
the worst album I've heard since probably since Metallica's Lulu.
Oh.
I'm gonna be honest though, I'm gonna say it's not as bad as that one. But I will at least give Metallica credit for trying something new.
And I can't remember which song it was. It was probably like, okay, you know the song Payphone by Maroon 5? There's a song in there that almost sounds so similar without certain deviations that song takes. And I had no idea. I knew the song, but I knew it by accident. To be honest with you, seriously, I thought it was One Direction. I really did. I thought the song Payphone was by One Direction. Like I basically was like, that's One Direction, and then I realized it was Adam Levine, and then I realized that there was a song on this that sounded like, and Tracy was like, hey, that sounds like this song. So I was just like, it was crazy, man.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. Like,
I like Payphone.
Yeah.
And this is me saying, it's like, I do enjoy a decent amount of pop music. That's why I like songs like Beautiful Mistakes and Memories. Those are the by far two standouts to me on here, because they're actually well-written pop songs. I do think Beautiful Mistakes would have been way better without a random rap feature.
Yeah.
That, again, feels like it comes out of nowhere. But most of this album, it's just boring. Like there's nothing that I can point to other than like lyrics in some places and be like, this is objectively bad. It's just boring to get through. So many
Yeah,
of
I
these
think
songs.
Seasons one like Convince Me Nobody's Love. All those songs, you could have just combined them into one song, one long song, and I wouldn't have even literally blinked. Like I would have been like, when did the songs begin to have an idea and end with an idea? Like it was just somebody talking and kind of singing over a light beat
Yep.
that basically had no objective or any kind of direction. And then like, it's just like Memories is kind of the saving grace of like of that part of the album. And then it's just like
Then they ruined it with the remix right after it.
the remix is horrible.
And it's not even like this is like a deluxe edition thing. They ended the album like this. Like they thought, yep, this is what we want to do. This is the good thing. And now you can't find a non-deluxe edition of this album. The deluxe edition is essentially just the album now. It's just the definitive, here's Jordi, and it's terrible, man.
And I mean, all apologies to Juice WRLD, Mr. Juice, but I had to leave your track alone because I really couldn't listen to it. I just took it and I was just like, I'm leaving it. I'm done. Like I'm gonna leave you alone. And I'm gonna go straight to the song that I think is like actually pretty decent. That's Memories. And like I was saying, it's painful, man. It's painful.
The Juice WRLD song, Juice WRLD's verse is like the only part of that song that I thought was anywhere near enjoyable. So it got like an extra point on top of that one just for that. But again, why? That's my question whenever I see all these features. Why? Profit.
It's Adam Levine's birthday. I really do think someone check this. I want to know when his birthday is, and I want to 100% that he didn't bribe everyone to come in on this album like a threat, like lawyers sent letters out like, because you owe Adam Levine like studio time, his record, I don't know, like you have
March
to show
18th.
up on his album. When did this album get released?
18th, 1979.
Okay. It's my dad's birthday too.
This album was ended recording March 2021. Plenty of time.
Oh my God. Conspiracy.
No.
Hashtag Illuminati, end of the world. I swear to God, this is his birth. Like this is him weeping in a room, and they're like, "Adam, stop crying. You're not old. Like, look, we're all on your track." He's like, "Thanks, guys."
Also, can you just appreciate that this album took about 3 years to record? Usually, when you have an album that takes that long, you get something very good as an end result.
Oh my God!
I can guarantee you, he was done with the album in 30 minutes. And then he probably was like, all right, let's like add a bunch of like filters and weird little like distortions and like noises. And you know what I mean? Like he kind of like, yeah.
Somewhere, I bet you there's a cut of this album that has the full band on it. And he listened to it. He's like, no. No one listens to guitar-driven music anymore. Let's turn those down. They're probably in the mix. If you look at it, they're probably in the mix, but just the point you can't hear it.
Yeah, he just cut them out. Yeah, just they're
oh
there,
my
just like
God.
Look at all these musicians that played on this album.
Wow, that's terrible.
Wow. This is just an atrocity.
My God, just so many people.
It's like the literal case of too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah,
literally.
100, and that's exactly what I'm gonna say.
By hearing it,
yeah, it's more is less. If anything, it's just like the more people you cram in on this, the less it like has any opportunity to know what it is. It's just
I can't even believe it.
The weird thing is when you have an album that has this much input, this many people working on it, usually you end up with a very unfocused album that just sounds all over the place. That's weird to me that this doesn't, props to them for being able to get this many people to work on it. And it still sounds focused. I mean, focused in a negative way, but I mean, I guess they knew what they wanted to do here. It sounds focused in a, like, here's the sound we're going for. Everyone make sure you're doing exactly that and don't give me any other input.
Yeah. Right. They're like, crash this plane in the ground. No, angle it a little bit better. Straight down. No, okay, there you go. Crash it. Yeah, like it needs more people to help drive it into the ground.
Imagine if this is like imagine if they made it suck more than it already does. Like, imagine if there was imagine if every single song was a feature though, because Seasons has no feature, Lovesick has no feature, Lost has no feature. And Nobody's Love. Can you imagine for 1 second if just every song had a feature?
Well, you know what? Nobody's Love might actually have benefited from one. Nobody's Love is one of the worst songs I've heard, I think, ever.
Yes.
That one I actually
Same here.
full on hated. And it's not only one of the worst songs, one of the worst selections as a radio single I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, why would anyone listen to that and be like, yep, this is the one we're pushing out to radio?
And like, my favorite part is, and for those of you who are listening, you won't be able to see this, but the actual single cover is ridiculous. Look at the single cover for this. It's a girl on top of like an ocean thing with a smiley face in the corner. Are you high?
That looks like a Alanis Morissette album cover from the 90s.
Yeah, right.
100%.
And like, it says Nobody's Love, and it's just a woman like looking upset, and then there's just the big smiley face in the corner.
And then it's just they use like this like real cliche kind of like overexposed kind of graphic, like it's just like, yeah.
Also, can we just acknowledge that apparently the song was inspired somehow by the COVID pandemic and the George Floyd protests?
It's not even lyrically there. Like,
oh man.
And I'm actually like,
I respect Maroon 5.
I'm actually very happy that I didn't like listen to any of their mid stuff. I really am. Like I'm really happy that I like my idea of Maroon 5 is like a lot of those songs that I know from like their first album or two. Yeah, and like I mean with like guitarists and like band members playing and like
they even
that's
did
the way.
Really good cover of Highway to Hell too.
yeah, they did.
Go.
Actually, really good.
And like in a lot of ways, I feel like this album is a complete rebirth of what Adam Levine's sound is basically heading towards. And like he didn't even try one of these songs to have like an old school approach to it, which means, and this kind of comes back to my idea where an artist has no need to further prove anything or like do anything that seems like remotely like intentional. Like I'm going to intentionally try hard and make something good. They're like basically I don't need to. I've pumped out enough stuff. I have enough money. I have enough features and people to tell me I'm doing good. Like why should I have to prove myself by like going and actually writing a like legit song with layers of sound and instruments and all kinds of like I have the new sound and it's easier to hire a bunch of programmers to keep the keyboard to program everything and like done. I don't need anyone's help. I don't need my band's help. I have all these people and then people are going to gobble it up. And I mean, what was the general consensus of this album? Like what was the reception? Like if you click on
you have to see this. You have
considering
the
comments were turned off. That was a pretty good example.
Yeah.
Can I read some of this? Is that okay? Can I read some
please.
of this? All right. So I'll read it from the top. We're on the Wikipedia page for those who are listening to us. Jordi received mixed reviews from critics. No shit. At Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 reviews from mainstream critics, the album has an average 48 out of 100, which indicates mixed or average reviews based on 9 reviews. Writing for New Music, I forget the name, MEMNE, L. Hunt reported, with Jordi, Maroon 5 were more visible and more times vulnerable, describing the two versions of Memories as sharp pop songs with both substance and heart. Talking about the collaborations, Hunt detailed Stevie Nicks' contribution to Remedy that sounded like a corrupt Siri singing a country western, and described Jason Derulo's collaboration with Levine lifestyle as silly and slightly overdone. She remarked that the addition of Juice WRLD on Can't Leave You Alone serves little purpose, and that his verse is wedged in the middle of an unwise, unremarkable breakup song. And now we get to the negative reviews.
Facts, as the kids say, facts, man, facts.
Yes, that wasn't the negative reviews.
That was the mixed review. Here's the negative reviews. In a negative review, Kate Solomon of I described the songs as generic but hypnotic melodies over generic but danceable beats, going on to say that the songs were banal. I think they say it.
Now,
Yeah, banal.
but now,
And advertisement friendly. While Solomon highlighted the inclusion of her and Megan Thee Stallion, she described the posthumous appearances.
Yeah.
Thank you. But posthumous appearances by I can't pronounce anything for my life, by Nipsey Hussle and Juice WRLD as unmemorable. Solomon went on to remark that the album is perfectly crafted to please crowds, to slip into your consciousness without you realizing. Oh my God. In a similar review, the Guardian's Alexis P. I'm not gonna pronounce that.
Yeah, I ain't helping you on that one.
Sorry, dude. Describe the album as a plethora of well-worn 21st century pop tropes, tropical house sounds, post-Tame Impala floaty synths, but nothing you would describe as a novel of the
I'm
music.
getting excited over here. I need to hold on.
It's almost
man.
done. It's almost
I
done.
am on fire right now.
He likened Maroon 5 to blank the canvas and saying that the band was, quote, reliant on guest artists to inject their personality and songwriters and producers to come up with the goods. He highlighted Bantu and the Stallions' contributions, describing them as fiery and a surprise, respectively, but went on to describe the rest of the album as a mixed bag and remarked that the albums felt too calculated for their own good. Good God.
Dude, that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
Tropical house sounds, these beats, like it sounds like
bad.
someone went, can I have every single kind of like little sample from like previous radio pop music, and can I use them in my songs? Like, yeah, sure, like here you go. And they like, he just like sampled all of those to make this album. That's exactly how I was like feeling on the like every track felt, you know.
Oh my! Can we
Sounds
talk about
like
the
a-
runtime of each song?
They're pretty stereotypical for pop songs, hovering about 3 minutes or so.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Those reviews, some of them were a little more positive than I anticipated.
me too.
I don't know,
I like how
especially with some of the features being highlighted. I thought the features were, for the most part, the worst parts of this album. I really
It's funny,
didn't like.
exactly what you said, Kyle. The mixed reviews were like like this sucks, and the suck reviews are like this is like horrid. So that's how bad when your mixed reviews are like literally
Maybe
not
it's a
mixed, they're just
super suck.
yeah, they're just like, yeah, this is not
And Mike, I have some bad news for you. If you hadn't listened to any newer Maroon 5, the album before this, not much better. It's about
No.
pretty much more of the same thing.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've been on
Red pill blues.
they've been on a downward spiral for almost the better part of no, not almost a decade. Probably since like 2015.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Even
quote.
that album had,
I'm
like-
gonna quote you, Kyle. I'm gonna quote Kyle and say, I had this conversation with Kyle at one point about Maroon 5 in general, and he said, "I've never." I'm quoting you, or stop me when you remember this. I've never seen a band dip so fast in quality so quickly. It's so true.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, they didn't have like a gradual. Here's our, this is our change of sound. They had. We write fun pop music. Like early 2000s was like, oh, we write like soft pop rock. It's like, okay, cool. Now it's like, all right, we write fun radio pop. It's whatever. And then all of a sudden you had the album V, which was like half really good. Like you had like Sugar, Maps, Animals, like huge hits. That's pretty much where that album stopped. Every other song on that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, but it was still, decent. When almost half an album is good, I'll give it a pass. But then all of a sudden they just were like, we're not doing fun songs anymore. We're doing minimalistic pop music that's written by like 20 different people. And boy, did it just, the only other band I think went downhill as fast, but not quite as fast, 5 Seconds of Summer. they went from playing pop punk to just similar music to this, just boring, uninspired pop. But I'm not gonna lie, I respect Maroon 5 as musicians. Not so much Adam Levine as of late. I feel like he's just taken it upon himself to do everything, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'd actually love to be wrong, because if they're all on the same page, I can respect that you try something if it's actually what we want to put out. But I respect the guys. They hang out, they do the live shows, and good for them.
What
They
I
can
just
profit off of this.
and it's the times when Adam Levine's voice goes so high and he's like, it sounds like he's morphing into a mouse at times.
Yes.
Like it's just like he's just like doing these high pitched like, well, like it's just like it feels like a guy trying to like prove that he's not like an old dude. Like he can do these kind of like the stuff they used to do in like 2010 with like the girl in the back.
I think he does it on. I have a feeling he does it on purpose now, just as like, because he never used to do that back in the day. Like, yeah, he always had like a higher voice, but I feel like it wasn't until like the mid 2010s where he got the reputation as, oh yeah, that guy with the really high voice. And ever since then, he's just been like, I have to do this in every song. Every song needs me like trying to go falsetto and doing all this like high notes and stuff, and it doesn't work for him. I don't know. I don't care for it.
We're all in agreement now. This is just a disaster.
And the manager's family's now suing to have his name removed. I'm just kidding, folks. Don't look that up. Exactly. That's fake news. But yeah.
Oh my god! I just want to. I don't know if I shared my thoughts or not already, but on the track listing, but like, Beautiful Mistakes is like, to me personally, like the what outside of Megan, the radio edit, I should say, the radio edit, they don't play Megan Thee Stallion because corporate radio don't want to play her. But like, of course, but I will say that it's funny, that song starts off like, when I really like it, but when it first came out, I was like, I'll never forget this. I was driving down, I was listening to the single again. I was like, all right, let me try this new Maroon 5 single, Beautiful Mistakes, whatever, right? I listened to it and I was driving, and I was driving down to my grandparents' house, and I got to tell you the story. I was driving down to my grandparents' house. They live like 25, 30 minutes away. And I'm listening to Maroon 5 greatest hits, whatever, right? And right before I get to the house, the song comes on, Beautiful Mistakes, as the single before the album came out. And I'm like, and I remember being like, jaw dropped at the floor again. And after I listened to the song, I was like, I walked into the house and I said, guys, I think hey, how you doing? And, oh, it's so good to see you. I think I just heard the worst song of the year right now. And they were like, what? What do you mean? Because they know I'm like a big music guy, whatever. And they're like, and then who sung it? And I said, Maroon 5. They're like, really?
Like,
it was just, like Moron 5? What's going on? But the song has come to grow. Like, the song has grown on me a lot, actually. Like, if you take Megan Thee Stallion out, I wish they would release a cut with that. But that's because I like the groove on it, whatever. But outside of that and Memories, just like, I listened to it again the other day before we did our stream today, and I was like, what? Like, I almost puked. I kid you not, I almost puked. I was that like in shock. I maybe because I ate something bad, but maybe because the album just sucks. I don't know. Like, I was in so much denial. Like, this cannot be true. This cannot be the same artist at this point that I thought they were. It was just like, oh my god.
And the Beautiful Mistake song, and that's the problem with that. The mistake is that it has a nice like, catchy quality to it, a good chorus to it, but it just doesn't do anything after that. It kind of just, okay, I'm going to take that and I'm going to have a little part in between, but then I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do that again. And that's the problem with that song. It like had so much, it had so much promise, but outside of that, it kind of runs out of ideas fast. It's kind of like, here's what I brought, and I really don't have any other things to add to it, but I'm going to continue to play it over and over and over and over again. And you're just going to like accept that because it's like, that's the catchiness of it. And it could have been better if it had more to it. Like, it did some other stuff in it alongside of that, So, and that's
for for anyone that's not watching this, they're not going to see the Wikipedia page here. But I need to highlight something. We're on the Beautiful Mistakes single page.
Yeah.
I know it's Wikipedia and anyone can edit what they want here. But I need to point out that someone described this song as a guitar-driven pop rock song with heavy drums and atmospheric synths and a tranquil beat. First of all, how do you have a song with heavy drums and a tranquil beat? Unless you're like a prog rock song with multiple parts, those two things generally don't go together.
Can we see who the what do you call it, the note, or like the person they were referencing, or who wrote that?
That I think
I really want
to edited the page.
No,
that was
who said that? Adam Levine. It all comes back to him.
Oh my
It just
God.
so happens he owns a magazine who reviews his own music, and he puts out his own reviews.
Oh my God.
That just shocked me, seeing that anyone could even attempt to describe the song that way. Because I enjoy the song, but there's nothing guitar driven or heavy drums about this.
Yeah, sounds like they were smoking crack. You know, like, I mean, I just gotta put it out there. Like, okay,
Whoever wrote that on the internet, we're calling you out.
Yes, yeah, you can add us at that. So sure.
You can tweet us at Super Review Show.
Yeah.
Straight up. And it was a huge hit too. Like, oh my God. It's just on the Hot 100, it was number 13. Beautiful Mistakes.
Yeah, but they're a band that they could release Adam Levine farting into a microphone. It'll still be
That's very true. That's very true. I'll give you that.
The Czech Republic release was that. They preferred that. Release it.
Oh my God. Do we have anything else we want to talk about for these piece of garbage, or no?
No, my last thing is just that I even have written down in my notes as I was taking while going through this album. About halfway through, I just wrote, "Is this even a band anymore?"
Is this music anymore? Yeah. Besides that, we have our ratings for it and everything. I'm sure that's going to be just a lovely number.
It's going to be a great number.
Might surprise, maybe. Yeah. All right. Well, who wants to kick it off? Yeah.
All right. Why don't we let Kyle go first? Kyle,
I'll kick
what's
it
your
off.
rating?
I might have the highest number here.
Oh God.
So, I gave it a 5 out of 5. No.
It's the greatest thing since Green Day's American Idiot.
I love this album. No. In all seriousness, so the way I do my ratings, and I think it's similar to how Mike does his, but correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. I get a rating for each song, then I average them out. So it's like a mathematical average. It's not just not just like pulled out of the blue, like, oh, this is a whatever number. So I had a couple songs that brought the rating up a bit. So it's a light 2 out of 5 for me. There were a couple songs that I did, like Memories to me was a straight 10. I really like that song. Lyrics, as I've said before, are a big thing for me. So I really like the lyrics on that. It was a well-made song. Beautiful Mistakes got like a 9. Then there were 2 others that got like a 7. Remedy and Seasons. Those were the only 4 songs that I took away from the album, thinking like, oh, these are songs I could see myself listening to. 2 of them, good enough to be in like a rotation of songs. So 2 out of 5 for me.
Mike, what do you got?
Yeah. Okay. So like, obviously, if this was just like the sound of the ocean with like a French horn in the background with someone like shaking a maraca and like chanting in the background, I those are the kinds of albums that I refuse to acknowledge as art and then give it a high rating because it's so groundbreaking. To me, it doesn't get a rating because it exists on a different plane. And like, because this album had music with it, it had a beginning, middle, and end. It had like you weren't listening to a song and it just like cut off and you're like, well, what happened? And they're like, yeah, we just didn't finish it and released it. Like, yeah, it basically it was a thing. It was a thing. So 1 out of 5 is my rating for it, but I wrote /1.5 out of 5 because there is when I re-listened to a couple songs, I was like, like I still hate it, but at least I can see something else in the song that is just not as bad as I like. When you get into a hate mode where you're just bashing on something, the next song you hear, you're like, I hate it, and then you're like, wait a minute, I got to go back and re-listen to this because I was like in that hate mode, and I need to come back to another day where I'm like cooled off and I like re-listen to it. So like, yeah, 1.5 is probably what it could become, but 1.5, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, is basically the rating for me. Just wouldn't do it. I hope JT can beat me. I really do. If he goes 0.5 or 0, I'll lose my villain. So don't let me lose my villain title, please.
Oh my God, Mike. Well, doing some last minute thinking about this, and my overall, final impressions, truthfully. Would I go back and listen to some of the songs? Yeah, I go back and listen to Memories and Beautiful Mistakes personally, but that's me. But outside of 2 songs that are at least pretty much decently well structured, I'm gonna go so far as to say this might be an atrocity. This is just terrible. I don't think I've listened. I've never actually listened to something in my life and then had my jaw open, as I said, and just flat out hated it.
Van Halen 3.
No. This is like to me, like as far as modern stuff goes, or in general, this might be worse than Van Halen 3 for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Not that far for me personally, but damn.
Because I, as someone who loves Maroon 5 pre-2014.
Yeah, like show us your wall right now. His posters on there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Go on.
Adam Levine's Super Bowl show.
That Super Bowl show was the best halftime show ever. It was the best one ever. It topped Prince. No, I'm just kidding. But I will say, for me personally, I give this album a solid point. Wow, I can't believe I'm going this low because the only redeemable qualities to me are Beautiful Mistakes and Memories. I'm giving it a solid 0.75.
Yes.
So I am bashing tonight. I'm worse than Mike.
I'm not the
villain.
Mike is not the villain tonight. I am the villain because I have never hated it. I've never hated something so much in my life that I was like, because the fact that you have some we touched on a lot of this songs you can't sounds you can't identify with at this point. You're like, is this still Maroon 5? Is this a EDM artist? What's going on? You're like, what the hell? I gotta tell you the truth. Outside of beautiful Mistakes and Memories, there is almost nothing redeemable about this album to me whatsoever. I am giving it a solid point. I said 0.75. That's less than a 1 right there. I am bashing this thing to death. Adam Levine, fight me. You can find us at the Super Review Shows on Twitter. I swear.
Yeah.
Come at me, bro.
We can get 200 likes, they'll fight to the death. So.
Celebrity boxing match.
Yes, and but that is our rating. So Kyle's rating, Mike's rating, my rating. We want to thank you all for watching us live and talking about this atrocity. Well, not somewhat, but like this album pretty much sucks. We've come to a very universal agreement on this. As you can see, for those who are not watching us and listening to us, our backgrounds on Zoom are just dumpsters behind us, which is what this album really is. It's just garbage. Pretty much. Mike's is fire, Kyle's is a giant dumpster, and mine is a car stuck in a dumpster, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and a car is actually a nice thing to find in a dumpster. At least you can turn it into something, so you might have a little more hope in yours than you realize, and maybe it's gonna become your new favorite underappreciated gem in the rough.
I forget diamonds, I found a car.
Found a Pinto, whatever the hell that is.
Next stream, JT's gonna be like, guys, I have to edit my score for the last one. It's actually a 4.
Yeah, it's a solid 4.75 out of 5, baby. Let's go. No. But ultimately, guys, what you guys have to say out there in the comment section below, let us know what you guys think. Thanks so much for watching, listening, enjoying this hate stream on Maroon 5 about how terrible their album was, and we hope you enjoyed us talking about how terrible this was. So, but thank you so much, and so stay safe, and we'll see you guys next week for another episode of Career